Alright, I can see your nose. I can see your eyebrows.
Is that a snort?
Shut up.
So, how do I have to stand? All stupid?
Just not like this, but not like this.
Okay.
Yes. You ready to go?
Welcome back to Homebrewing with... Welcome back. No laughing.
Here you go.
Welcome back to Homebrewing with Corey and Laura. Today we're going to transfer the pail and the cider into secondary fermenters. First of all, we need to sanitize them. Like I said last time, you squeeze this up to 1 ounce. Just dump it in here.
And then you fill it up with water.
So this is just an adapter. This is the normal sink fitting, and it just threads right on here. It's like a garden hose fitting, and then you get this fitting with a barbed end on it with a hose clamp, and that's all this is. You got sanitizer in the bottom.
Hot water. It is hot water. Yeah, fill it up with hot water, which will take a few minutes. So while this is filling, here's some clips from throughout the week.
Here's the beer and the cider. Beer is on the right side with the orange cap. Cider's on the other side. The yeast all moving around in there, churning the beer up. The yeast flocculation. There's chunks flying around in there. And this airlock is not bubbling on this side. And I think it is because this here doesn't seal very good, so I think the CO2 is just escaping out there. But if you can see the other side, that one is going. And it took the cider a lot longer to get moving, get fermenting. Whereas this, the next morning was all foamed up like that. And right now, it is at 68 degrees, so it's doing good. I am going to get something to seal up that little tube with the wire going through there, whether it's just a little bit of tape or whatever. This is just the night after we put these together, so it is already going that good. As you can see right there, the beer is fermenting great. It is actually overflowing with this foam. Making a mess. That one's going good. And I probably should have put a blow-off tube on this one. I didn't think of it at the time. But since I have to get out of here and get to work, I am just going to put a clean one on, and then I will put the blow-off tube on when I get home. We brewed these on Saturday, and my last clip was Sunday night, and right now is Tuesday morning, and that's what's going on with it right now. Today is Saturday, and it has been a week since we made these, and as you can see, I did put a blow-off tube on this one, and you can see that it made a mess as well. It was coming off the top of the airlock. So, and down there it is 66 degrees, so it means that this was turning the freezer on a little too hard, a little bit too long, so I'm going to have to go through the instructions and mess around with this thing and figure out how to turn the PIDs down a little bit so it doesn't come on so hard and cool it off too much. So I'm going to bring these upstairs, put them on the counter, let them settle down a little bit more because you shake them up a little bit when you pick them up to move them, and then we will transfer them to secondary fermenters and also dry hop the beer and dry hop the cider and put in the lemongrass. So here's one of the reasons that you transfer these to a secondary fermenter. Because after a week, all this stuff has settled out. And this is anything that was left suspended in the beer, hops, grain, Irish moss, and then most of it is yeast. And you saw how much yeast we dumped in there, the little bag. Most of this is yeast because the yeast will multiply while they are fermenting. So that is how much settles out for 1 week. It's exactly 1 week today. So this has been sitting in here for 5 minutes, and I have stuck my siphon hose down in here. So all you need to do is stick your finger over the top of this and pull it out. And stick it in the one that you're going to siphon to and let it go. Let it kink.
Again, this way we're saving some sanitizer and water, moving the sanitizer from one carboy to the next. Alright, so for the pale ale, we're going to put a full ounce of Simcoe and a full ounce of Cascade hops, dry hopped, into the secondary here. For the cider, we are going to put, this is 4 ounces of lemongrass paste. And then this is kind of just a cocktail of a bunch of different hops. We really like Simcoe hops, so we started with that, a half an ounce, and then we kind of just went through the freezer and found things that also have a citrusy note to them. So we put some Amarillo, some Centennial, Citra, Mount Hood, Palisade, and Sterling hops all in here just because we only had like 1/10 of an ounce of each of these. So together we wound up with about 2 ounces of hops. So these are going into the cider. We just finished siphoning into the second one here. While that one sits, we can siphon here. Get the rest of this. So I'm gonna put in the hops. Some purified water in here. Always make sure you can find it before you let go. Oh, there it is.
So it's right here. You don't want it too low or it's going to suck up this stuff off the bottom, which is what we're trying to leave behind, is one of the big points that we're doing this. Big reasons. And then as this siphons down in here, we put the hops in first, so the beer coming in will mix them all up really good. So then as it gets really low here, it's going to start sucking stuff up. So tilt it so that you can pull the hose up higher away from the sediment. When it starts to suck up a whole bunch like that, you might as well just stop, because you're just going to suck up a whole bunch of shit. And the point of this is to clean it, help it clear in the secondary.
You can kind of see the hops up there. Got some slightly green foam going on.
So I just want to dump this out into the sink so that I'll have sanitizer to use. I have the drain stopped off because there's going to be things touching the beer that we're going to have to sanitize. Okay, next we need to put our hops and lemongrass in this fermenter before we put the cider in. Ew. There you can see all the hops and the lemongrass sitting in the bottom. Don't worry about all this foam too. First time I used the sanitizer, it foamed up. And I freaked out. I'm like, what am I going to do to get rid of this stuff? But don't even worry about it. It doesn't do anything. It just goes away. Now I have my sink full of sanitizer. The siphoning hose is now full of sanitizer. Stick it in here, find it in the glass so you know you're not going down too low. Stick it in here. There it goes.
Look at those chunkies. Yeah, there you go. Ta-da! Really stirred up the yeast on this one. Look at it bubbling. This creates foam like that because of the sanitizer we have in there. I'll calm down in a few minutes.
Alright, now we take them back down and put them in the freezer, put the thermocouple back in, and we let them sit another week.
There they are.
Just like last time, I take this thermocouple, stick it in the sanitizer. Ooh. Oh, the freezer turned on because the sanitizer's warm. You know it's working. Cleaned out this whole freezer. It had overflow, fermenter overflow all over the place. You noticed last time, it was kind of sitting, after a few days, it was sitting right on top of the beer. I didn't have very much of it in there, so I stuffed a whole bunch more in. So this time I'm going to put a whole lot of it in there. So now look down in the fermenter and see if you can see where this...
Is this stuff moving? Float? No, it's too dark.
Well, it's down there somewhere. The beer's too dark to see. If it was a lighter beer, you might be able to see where it's at exactly, but...
Ooh, there's hops floating.
Yeah, and come down here every 2 or 3 days or so. And shake this up a little bit. Because these hops will stick to the glass and they'll sit up here. You want to mix them up and get them down into the beer a little bit. Just shake it a little bit like that, it's fine. You can't reach that one. It makes it go crazy like that too.
Yay, hops.
Whoa! Slow down some. There you go. We'll wait another week, and then we'll come back down here and take these out of here, and then we'll siphon them into the kegs and carbonate them, hook them up to the taps on the side of the fridge, and it'll be ready for the party.
Woohoo!
So now you're left with these dirty fermenters, and you're like, how the hell am I going to get all of this sticky shit off of here? I'm about to show you. So first you go to the brew hut. They have everything. You get one of these. It threads on here to this garden hose fitting, and then it puts pressure in here, and you stick the fermenter down on there, the lid pushes this down, and it sprays a jet of water. There you go. So this is just the first step. I'll show you what we do after. It's actually really easy. I was freaking out the first time I did it. No idea how I was going to clean these. Yeah, I think it's still bubbling. Alright. Stick it on here first, because if you don't, it's going to squirt out before it shuts off. I turn the hot water on, and you just stick it down on there. Move it around. Make sure you rinse all the bottom off. As long as you get all the chunks off the bottom, then you're done. You pick it up, and then it'll shut off. And I'll do the same thing to the other one. Alright, here's this one. This one looks like you'll never get it clean. Yeah, this one's pretty on the bottom too.
That's actually not that bad. Sometimes we've clogged a drain.
Don't break it either.
Ew, look at all that. Yeast poop.
Alright. Same thing. It's already on, so stick it on there. Make sure you do have something underneath these things when they're fermenting, because this will happen a lot of the time and it'll come out. I've had it blow it off of there before because it was stuck. It built up pressure till it blew it off, and it splattered this stuff all over the walls. So
in the carpet.
And then it came down and went in the carpet. And I tried to clean it with my carpet cleaner many times it was my apartment. I had to have it cleaned up before I moved out, and it never cleaned it all up. And then they told me, well, they're going to have a carpet cleaner come in, and if it doesn't come out, then they have to replace the carpet and I have to pay for it. So be really careful with stuff like that. It doesn't stain really bad or anything. It was just sticky. A lot, and it was way down in there, and I couldn't get it out. And the proper name for all that stuff down in the bottom is trube. Alright, next I'm going to hook my hose back up here. So here's the PBW environmental friendly cleaner. You can use this stuff in the dishwasher, and I think you can use it in the washing machine. I put it in the dishwasher instead of using soap when I put bottles in there to sanitize them before I bottle. There's some in there right there. You just fill it up with hot water and it'll dissolve over time. I'm going to do the same thing to this one, because I've had instances with like root beer, for example, where the flavor will get trapped in here or in the kegs or the lines or the taps, and then the next 2 or 3 beers you make after that taste like root beer. So I do this every time, no matter what. I also I know when I grab a fermenter that this has definitely been done to it, because I do it to every single one. So the next step is to sanitize it before you put the beer in. So I know that I'm always right there every time I grab a fermenter. So I'll let that fill up, and then it's going to sit for, it's been a while since I've done this. I think it's
a couple hours sometimes.
Depends on how bad it is, how stuck on it is. It could be anywhere from a half an hour to, a lot of times I'll just let them sit overnight, and then in the morning it'll be spotless. So.
Well, that's it. And you can already kind of see how this is cleaning it off. So we're just going to let these sit for a while. Fermenters are in the basement just waiting for another week. See you next week.
Thanks for watching our brewing video. Anyone who is keeping up on these, thanks for supporting the channel. Go ahead and leave comments down below if anyone has any questions about any of the stuff that we do or anything that we talk about that we don't go into detail with, because I don't want to put a lot of technical details into this. I just want it to be pretty simple, straightforward steps on what needs to happen to get this done. So if anyone has any specific questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I usually check them every day anyway, so I'll get back to you. I'll try my best to answer the questions. And if you enjoyed this video, leave us a like and subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. As you can see already, it's only been about 5 minutes, because this one isn't even full yet. Yeah, it's basically full. But in the time it took that one to fill up, look how much cleaner that is already.
No. My name is peeing over here.